I'm looking forward to, I'm looking forward to how this unfolds. We know something about this journey of finding strategy, mission, purpose. We've done it with Climate Dialogue Group. We're still doing it, but we're part of your team. And so just looking forward to how this goes forward. And Nancy, thank you so much for what you've contributed to this effort. So blessings.
Really quickly, I saw an email from Isaac. I think he's trying to join.
Isaac?
And he said the link, said something about the link not working.
That is the case with the link that was sent out this morning.
Let me forward to him.
Earlier link.
Need to have entry.
Having similar difficulties.
Is there a waiting room, Nancy?
Let me see what I can do.
Anyway, back over to you, Gayatri. Thank you for your leadership. You are, by the way, and Deborah, if you didn't notice, Robert in Uganda, Gayatri in Kenya, and Raul in, is it Delhi? Robert, are you, Raul, you're in Delhi?
Did we leave anybody out? Thank you, John, for that. Philip, have you gone? Okay, so I would want to request Robert Mboizi to just briefly tell us where we are, what are we looking at, and where is our focus on. Robert Mboizi, you have disappeared. Oh, there you are. Karibu.
Asante sana, Gayatri. Pleasure to meet you once again. And we are almost making 2 years since we joined CDG. And almost EVN was also making almost 2 years. And all this is because all of you have stood with us, have supported us technically and through a lot of support. By acknowledging that equatorial regions are facing a lot of climate-related issues that are affecting the quality of life, and also, Gayatri, could you please mute? Sorry. Yeah. So we as EVN, we are a team of passionate environmental defenders and climate activists across the equatorial regions. And those of you who have followed us closely, we have a diverse group from different countries. We've had members from Sri Lanka presenting in our dialogue. That was Melanie. We've had people from Afghanistan, Faiza. We've had people from India, Rahul and others. We've had people from Kenya. That is where we are having Gayatri, we're having Kelvin, we're having Isaac, and many others, Peter, Otiende. And we have people from Uganda. We are having Robert, there is Richard, there is Helen, there is Paul. We are also having people from Congo. Currently, we had a new member joining us who is called Muhula. I hope he could join us later today. We are having Haman from Congo. We are having members as far as from Burundi. So that shows you the representation of different countries on our platform. We are having members from more than 70 countries, that is to say. And our group is still open to allowing more people to come so that we share solutions. We build our network so that we can build a force that can surely fight against climate crisis. Our vision as EVN has been to create a healthy planet that is free from human-caused disasters, which will enable us meet our needs without necessarily endangering our communities or endangering other people, to ensure that there is sustainability of social needs. That is to say, the water is available, the climate is conducive for growth and development, and sustainable living of all humans. Then for our mission, it has always been to safeguard all communities and people, land, and living systems from the impending climate disasters. We all know what has been happening in many of these countries, including Uganda. We've had floods in Kenya. early this year. We've had a lot in the Far East Asia. Sorry. So that tells you the background, where we are coming from, and it informs you where we are planning to head. So, sorry. Sorry once again. So that is where we are coming from, and that's where we hope we can drive this EVN network to achieve some of these ambitious goals. And previously, we've had a lot of achievements that later on will be shared by many of our members. That would be Rahul and others. But in brief, that is the line that we've been undertaking. And that's the representation of our members from these different countries. Yes, thank you. Back to you, Getri. You're welcome, Socrates.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Socrates, welcome to EVN.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Rahul. Rahul, are you good to share about the strategies?
Hello.
Are you able to
Getri.
share about the strategies?
The PPT presentation.
Yeah.
Can you please give me a few minutes? I will log into my laptop and I will share.
Okay, thank you. As you're waiting for Rahul, in case there's any question that is coming up in our mind right now.
Is it possible for Nancy to share some of that we are presenting? Something like the agenda or the PowerPoint presentation?
I'll bring it up if you would like, Robert.
Yes, please.
Yes, please, Nancy.
This is the plan that we had worked out. If you would like to continue, Getri and Robert. And Rahul, I believe it is your turn to speak on the questions that we will be posing.
Introduction of the strategy before we go to breakout session. Secretary is writing on the wall that is not able to hear because he's a French speaker. Elizabeth, I don't know if you can help with translation. I'm sorry to jump on you.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. Hang on. The screen kind of split in a weird way. Sorry, what were you saying about translation? Gallery view. Yeah, what were you saying about translation?
We have Socrates that is not able to understand English because he's
Oh.
from a French-speaking country. If you're able to help, like short interpretation,
Oh,
so
yeah,
that we can accommodate him.
You mean with
Okay,
French?
thank you.
Pourquoi, non, peut-être Socrate parle français.
Oh, français. Okay, cool. Because I was like, what language?
My French is bad.
Yeah, I would be happy to. Je serais ravie de traduire pour vous. Bonjour, Socrate.
Bonjour.
Socrate.
Bonjour tout le
I
monde,
didn't
bonjour,
think you
bonjour.
could help with Kinyarwanda or Kirundi.
Hein?
Socrate, comment allez-vous?
Oui, bonjour tout le monde, bonjour tout le monde.
Où est pardon, je ne vois pas la petite présentation qu'elle a mis sur l'écran. Katri, do you still have the what's it called? The slides like shared on the screen so that I can tell him what it says?
Nancy, please share the screen on the presentation one.
Le
Yeah, or
parle-
maybe
Elizabeth, I believe that Socrates reads English just fine. It's speaking that is the problem.
oh, she's speaking. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, Socrate, si vous avez quelque chose à dire, vas-y et je pourrai traduire pour tout le monde. Si vous voulez dire le travail que vous faites ou dire quelque chose sur où vous êtes. Ouais, quelque chose comme ça.
Oui, bonjour encore une fois.
Hello again.
Et mon nom est Socrate Imani Matabaro.
My name is Socrates and I'm probably butchering the pronunciation.
Mataboro.
Je suis un jeune Congolais.
He's Congolese, I think.
Oui, oui, mais je suis au Burundi depuis 8 ans déjà. Je suis venu ici pour faire des études universitaires.
He's been in Burundi for 8 years doing. Qu'est-ce que vous avez dit? Vous faites quoi?
Je suis venu au Burundi pour les études universitaires depuis 2014.
Oh, since 2014, he's been in Burundi for going to university, and then yeah.
Et j'ai fini mes études universitaires dans la communication organisationnelle à l'Université Espoir d'Afrique.
He's doing international communication pour quelle agence?
À l'Université Espoir d'Afrique.
Okay, at a university in Africa.
Et maintenant, je travaille avec une organisation que nous avons créée avec d'autres jeunes.
They created an organization he created an organization with his colleagues.
Il s'occupe du soutien des enfants orphelins, la promotion de la jeunesse et nous aidons sur les femmes veuves vulnérables.
So they take care of orphan children and other young folks and also women who have been. I wasn't sure about that. Le dernier mot, que les femmes qui sont.
Donc nous travaillons avec les soutiens. Donc nous travaillons pour le soutien des enfants orphelins, la promotion de la jeunesse, les femmes veuves vulnérables et nous intervenons aussi dans les urgences humanitaires s'il y a des possibilités de fonds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They so helping with women who are vulnerable, helping with children and orphans and stuff, and also getting involved with humanitarian organizations. Est-ce que vous avez dit que vous aidez avec les fonds, vous aidez à accumuler des fonds pour ces organisations?
Donc, je dis, nous aidons les enfants orphelins, les femmes veuves vulnérables, mais aussi nous faisons la promotion de la jeunesse.
Oui. Alors, promotion, comme vous aidez les jeunes à avoir une éducation et à avoir du travail et tout ça?
Oui, des choses comme ça, oui.
So they also help young people in terms of, getting an education and getting work and other essential aspects of life. Yeah.
Et maintenant, nous travaillons avec un groupe de jeunes homosexuels qui sont venus de l'Ouganda. Ça fait déjà une année que nous sommes avec eux ici au Burundi et nous essayons un peu de les aider comme on peut.
Yeah. So they're working right now with a group of young folks who came from Uganda. They're a group of gay people, and they decided to come to Burundi, and they're trying to help them out with various things and working with them. Pretty sure they're young people as well.
C'est un peu ça en bref en ce qui concerne le travail de ce que nous faisons ici au Burundi.
Pardon, c'était quoi la dernière phrase?
Je dis, c'est un peu ça en bref le travail de ce que nous faisons ici au Burundi comme travail.
Yeah, that's the kind of work that he's doing. There's probably more, but that's the basic summary, he said.
Merci à tout le monde. Merci.
Oui, merci beaucoup.
Merci, Secretary.
Merci.
We want to talk a little bit about the accomplishment because we'll be going to group discussion and looking at from the mission that Robert was talking about and the accomplishments that we have. We have strategies that we are looking at from this PowerPoint perspective. And then we also have structures on what we want to see, where we want to see EVN going. And so this is where we need all our brains to come in, because then it will help us know how are we moving from where we are after 2 years of what you have done. Nancy, I don't know if you're able to take us through the PowerPoint presentation so that people can just know what it's all about before we go to the group breakout session.
Yes, Getri, I'll do that in a moment. I think I figured out what was wrong with the Zoom link. It was broken in half, and so people are only getting half of it when they go in. So I just put it in our group chat in hopes that some of our other voices arrive. So let me take us back to the beginning. These are some of the visionary statements that brought the group together. If you wanted to, you walk me through, Robert, and then I walk through the accomplishments and then the questions that we were going to pose. But Getri, guide me as to what you would like to see. Robert or Getri, do you?
Yes, Nancy, can you come again with the last request?
Would you guide me, please, through the slides you would like to use? This was what we had earlier planned, but you've also gotten somewhat ahead. So these first few were you're speaking about our vision and mission, and then we were moving into Rahul to speak about our strategies and what we've accomplished, and then into Getri leading us in the process we would go through. But I'm not sure where on the slides. If Getri or Robert could guide me, I'll bring up the slides as you wish. Or I could just walk through them fairly quickly and you could say stop here.
I think we want to go to the accomplishments.
Okay.
Achievements.
Website is not yet running. I ran into numerous technical difficulties. We've got the content for it, but mostly what it will have will be the dialogues that have already passed will be available on the website, as well as all of our members being able to share the many projects that they're engaged with in each of their countries.
And I
Okay.
think our friends, from what you're talking about, the accomplishment, from having the 12 dialogues, we have quite a number of interested speakers who are requesting to present, and we're planning for a schedule of probably a monthly discussion. And then our intention is to widen the scope of EVN. And we have so many people coming up to be new members who are not in this meeting, because this meeting specifically was to reflect back where we have been for the last 2 years. So
Getri? Getri?
Just really quickly, I was wondering if you guys would be okay with sharing this with everyone who's on, or like sending the slides to everyone. Oh, Sokrat said something. Here, someone will be giving a report of this meeting at the end by email. I could even translate into French if you send me a copy. Should I, Sokrat, est-ce que vous voulez que à chaque fois que quelqu'un dit quelque chose, je traduis? Parce que je serais ravie d'essayer avec mon français un peu. Mais oui.
Oui,
Nancy,
oui, mais cela peut ralentir la réunion. Je pense que ça serait plus mieux d'avoir peut-être une copie à la fin, peut-être des comptes rendus. Je pourrais comprendre facilement ce qui a été dit.
Absolument. OK. Bon, alors, je vais leur demander si je devrais traduire aussi, si je devrais traduire et s'ils peuvent vous envoyer quelque chose comme un report, un report complet de la présentation. Do you think you guys can, he's asking if you can send him an email report of the meeting?
Yes,
Written report of the meeting after?
yes, we can surely do. Actually, most of you people, I think in the mail sent by Nancy, some of you have a copy of this. I think she attached it to the mail that she sent that had the link.
Oh, the big, okay, yeah, sorry.
So I'm requesting Nancy, if you may, to take us on what we do. I know Rahul is really a bit down, that he can throw some light in explain what we do in brief, our accomplishments orally, so that we go through the whole of it before we go to the discussion. Getri's network is a bit down.
So, Robert, were you asking me to return to the beginning of the slideshow and walk through it step by step? We've just completed kind of what was meant to be the middle part. Would tell me where you'd like me to go, please.
I wanted that to start from the current accomplishment, so that we'll take us through that and what we do briefly, so that people can really understand without them necessarily reading on screen. Although we shall share these slides also. Sorry.
I'm not sure.
Just give me a minute. I'm starting my laptop, and I will share the presentation. Robert, if possible, can you please drop me uh, that the updated presentation to my WhatsApp? I will quickly share from here and present as we proceed. Just drop me
All right, so let me
in
work on it
WhatsApp.
now.
Yeah, I'm joining from laptop. Just a minute. Everything will be sorted. Yeah.
Also, just wondering, is there going to be a transcript of this? Because that could be another thing that would be useful for Sokhat, is a transcript so that he can see
Yeah,
what people.
There is a transcript unfolding even as the recording is unfolding.
Perfect. Donc, Socrate, Nancy vient de dire que il y a une version écrite qui Zoom technology. Il y a une façon d'écrire tout ce que tout le monde dit pendant qu'ils le disent, et puis après la réunion, on va pouvoir voir un peu comme un script ou oh là là, le mot m'échappe en ce moment, mais ça va écrire tout ce que tout le monde dit. Alors on peut, voyez.
Merci. On peut continuer. Merci. On peut continuer. Merci.
There is a capacity now to have AI do a summary of everything that happens, and it gets done super quickly, and it's actually a very useful tool. I don't see it on my screen because I'm not a Zoom host here, but that is something to consider going forward.
Rahul, are you in position of discussing this?
Just give me one more minute. I have joined from laptop. Just loading WhatsApp for presentation. Or should I start from he? Wait.
Yes, you
Wait.
could,
Let
because
me-
I think I've shared.
Yeah, I will pick up from here. Sorry, members. Apologize for the glitch. Hello everyone. I hope you are doing well and fine. So as earlier, Nancy, Getry, and Robert said, we are come far from what we looked initially. I remember 2 years back, in during July or April, David Albert introduced me uh, to this cohort, and the idea was his proposed was fascinating, and we were actually blank on that, what exactly we are going to do, and what we are looking for. But when years passes, we find common deliverables, common interest in us, and whatever we came so far, we achieved. We can proudly say that. So in last 2 years, 12 dialogues happened, which are from Afghanistan, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Kenya, then and many other countries, Sri Lanka also, then Burundi. Many our members shared their experiences, what's exactly happening in their countries. Initially, we thought why we are taking this, but as of now, when we saw Nancy and I and our team coupled up for a website thing, we found ourselves fascinating that we have that large knowledge base from these 12 dialogues. Many members shared their expertise, experiences that I have never came across to see anywhere on the web portal. That's what we have achieved at this moment. And secondly, it's very important to connecting with members, those who are working in the same area, same domain. And we found diverse memberships from equatorial regions across the globe. That we found gender activists, we found climate activists, we found educationalists, and many more. So when we came up to discuss the strategies, the perspective that they came up with the thoughts, it's really important to us, because we feel the diversity is is uh, is very important in any kind of such discussions. So till now we have 64 members, and we are hoping to increase these numbers in coming future. We have dedicated Google form for this, and many of you have already registered to that. And if anyone not, I will share Google form link in chat box soon. Then 9 countries represented, and all of them were very genuine and actively engaging to our dialogues, without I can say without any hesitations, without any expectations. They are voluntarily joining, and that means a lot to us, because investing time into such dialogues are key, are playing key role to move the discussion forward and taking out from it. And then we come up, and I remember in last 2 years, I think we missed to add that I really thankful to Philip, that he invited us into the conference. It was gave a different perspective for all of us to sharing the experiences and to listening all other members. So we really thank him regarding the conference purpose. Then initially it was not in the list to having a website, but then Nancy take this forward. I I would like to, like, thank you is not enough for this. Nancy helped us to reach out to Michelle and other members, and we really happy to interact with Michelle and her team regarding the website, and we are thankful for all the support that they were doing. Right now we are setting up our website, and that are too technical for me. I have never came across into the web designing and all. I'm learning from Nancy. That is really important for me at this moment. And I hope in coming months we will come out with the full-fledged website that portray our knowledge that we produce in last 2 years. And we definitely uh, want to have more engagements on website thing. We are strategizing and making smooth as we can through website. So that is plus point to us in these 2 years. Then you all know we are working in different locations of the globe, and many members are working very hard to tackle climate change with whatever resources they have with them. And we genuinely uh, need to appreciate to all those who are making efforts without any kind of formal support or anything. And for that purpose, we have did engagements in some manner of financial thing that David and his team provided to us, is really crucial, and we are really thankful for that. And members are engaging, members are sharing their experiences, whatever they were feeling, whatever they were experiencing, whether it is Ghana, Kenya, or from Robert's country, from Nancy's, from Philip's, from everyone is sharing the things that are really touched to us, and we we really hope that we can make some impact into everyone's life that we agreed on. That next is EVN purpose and strategy, further refined, clarified focus. So why we are Gatry, do I need to uh, present this one also, or
Yes, the accomplishment. I think that's
yeah,
what we've just done.
last point is remain. So what makes us to think to invite all of our senior members, all of our members to this meeting? Because we are doing activities, and we need to strategize ourselves, and that's why we thought to as we have 2 years completed and we don't have general body meeting, so all our team uh, are agreed on that, and we actually looking forward passionately to take something from this, how we are going to strategize and the purposes, and to get clarified the focused areas and all. So yeah, as of now we are dealing with various country members. Right now we are taking uh, their appointments to book calendars on for their own dialogues, and we have many other things that podcast is pending, and the short video makings, that advocacy is we are planning to do, and we are just waiting for our own website thing to came upon. So yeah, Gatry,
Yes, Raul.
should I proceed with this? What do we do?
Yeah, I mean, just go
This
all through, then you can pick the question for the breakout rooms.
yeah. So what do we do? Then we all know we based on we strategize ourselves from Bohm's dialogue, because conversation is very important. Dialogues, deep dialogues are very important, and these deep dialogues, deep concerns, awareness about climate crisis, about all equatorial voices members in different localities at least once in a month. We initially tried for twice, but due to every member are engaged in some other activities, so we are unable to take this. But we really came up across to have one dialogue in each month. Then education and outreach, promote environmental protection, conservation, resilience, restorations by increasing the numbers of people involved in such actions as. Yeah, so I remember in one of my dialogue I mentioned about the activities, the initiatives that are currently going in India to protect environment from this upcoming crisis. And currently, if I may call upon, for last 48 hours, we are experiencing heavy rain here, and few just about uh, 20-15 kilometers from my place, villages are flooding, and they were really helpless because they don't have that much resources to mitigate all these things. And we as a EVN member, or as a development professional, sorry, I am calling development word here, but we are addressing their issues. We are providing aids, food packages, the necessary medicines, those who are disconnected with the government authorities. That's happening right now, and we are going to work for the next couple of months to take all the community members from take out from that drought situation. So in our other countries, many members like Kelvin, Leonida, and many others are working really hard to build to build community engagements there. And can you please go back slide, Gatri? Just I was there. Right. So we are doing tree plantation projects, school-based education programs, renewable. Yeah. These all things we actually discuss in our dialogues, and the key updates from everyone in each month. Please go next. Yeah. So more of what we do. Yeah, we are really fostering ourselves to build capacity of community-based actors. We are trying to find community leaders, community motivators, those who are respond to climate crisis. Then whatever resources we all know, whatever we have, it's not enough to mitigate, but still we are trying to get those resources utilized to mitigate all these climate crisis issues, and we based projects like tree plantations, then water conservations, then Pani Foundation Farmers Clubs. We are mobilizing farmers also, and many other country members are doing the same. Then we try to develop our own network, a person-to-person relationship in various dialogues. You saw in our WhatsApp group, many members share their experiences, their instances that they were caught up with the climate crisis. And then political action to get strengthened to our organized work. We actually trying to find those critical gaps, and we want to fill it by laws, policies, and funding structures, and other procedures that we are came across. So it is uh, yeah uh, yeah. Can you please go next? Who is presenting? Robert. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, so, Robert, are you taking this, or I have to go with?
Okay, thank you, Rahul. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for elaborative presentation. On this particular presentation, this area, we wanted our members who are able to take part in this meeting to understand where they can contribute to the current EVN state. We've already shared the accomplishments. So here we are sharing the opportunities where we can build on our climate activism and climate action. And one of the ways that we think individual members can contribute is by presenting or hosting an event on a topic of your choice. For instance, we are having a member like Socrates, Muhula, or any other member, some of whom they have not gotten an opportunity to present. Amongst those 12 dialogues, some members, not all EVN members, have presented. So those of us who are here and have not had an opportunity to present, you can propose an ideal topic that is associated with climate, eco-justice, human rights, anything to do with peace or environmental action that you can share with us and present through a bomb-inspired dialogue. Sorry? Another opportunity that we have for our individual members is that now that we are in the process of launching our own EVN website, members can share their articles, stories, their work, projects that they can share to the world. So this EVN website will be very, very important for promoting the visibility of our members and their work. Noting that some of our members, someone is talking? Noting that, can someone mute? I don't know if someone is talking. Okay, they can share their work on our website, rating campaigns related to environmental or climate action. Then also, By being our EVN member, this network provides a platform for learning more about climate action and climate crisis solutions. Personally, I was very passionate about environment and climate, but I had little knowledge. And with time, I've gained a lot of knowledge with the interaction I've had with colleagues, but also with these different dialogues that we've had. Actually, one of the most moving dialogues that I had on my end was from Melanie. I don't know whether she has been able to take part. She talked about the issue of waste management in, I think, Sri Lanka, her home country. It was really a touching presentation. So I learned a lot about that. So other members can really pounce on this opportunity so that we build solutions to the climate crisis that we are facing in our respective countries. Then we can also, EVN provides room for collaborative work, joint actions. For instance, if I and maybe Getri have an idea, we can develop a project where we can share resources, we can share knowledge, and we implement them in our individual communities. Ideally, if we're in the same country, maybe I and Richard Chambade, we want to implement a project related to maybe using biomass briquettes or whatever to promote or to fight against tree cutting. We can do that. So this network provides this opportunity for mutual support, for collaborations and joint actions as members. Then also, we as members, we can also contribute to the progress of EVN. Yes, we've achieved a lot, but we would have achieved more if more members could come and contribute individually, maybe under task groups, maybe under different opportunities that this organization or this network is providing. So those are some of the ideas where members can really actively participate in the EVN work. The website, hosting dialogues, knowledge sharing, collaborative programs or joint actions, and also taking part in responsibility, leadership, and other opportunities that come along with. Okay. So with that said, talking about what we've accomplished, talking about what we do as members, and talking about the opportunities that lie under EVN, and also having given you a brief about who we are, our vision and mission. So I think Getri can lead us and into the next session. Thank you. Getri, are you with us?
Michelle just texted into the chat that Getri lost the internet connection again.
Oh, sorry about that. I didn't see the chat. Now that I'm done sharing this.
Robert, can
Yes,
you
sir.
please take this?
Okay,
move
now
ahead.
that
Better than yeah.
Okay, thank you, Rahul. I think, could we go into breakout rooms, because there are two sets of questions that we could discuss. There are these, then we had also some questions under this. So ideally, I am not in charge with the technology. I'm not very good with this, but we could ideally split. Some share these first two questions. Then the other group could share these questions. Nancy, could you help out?
Just give me a sec. I will take a snap of this so that everyone can see on their screen, so they know what they have to speak. Let me take one snap. Okay, right.
Michelle will be helping.
I will put
Michelle
it.
will be helping us with it.
I will put the questions into the chat. After you get into your breakout room, you can open chat again, and you should still be able to see those questions.
All right.
So I've set up breakout rooms that have titles. There's two sets. One set is about vision and mission, and one set is about strategy and projects. And both Roberts, Raul, and David, I've actually assigned you into specific rooms. And I'm going to quickly delete the ones that I don't think we're going to need more than 2 each. So everyone else, you're going to choose if you want to be in one of the vision and mission rooms, A1 or A2, or one of the strategy and projects rooms, B1 or B2. But give me just a moment and I will paste the questions for both into the chat and then open the breakout rooms so that you can go in there. And again, once you're in the breakout room, please reopen the chat and you'll be able to see those questions. Give me just a moment. There's for breakout room A. So if you're in A1 or A2, you'll do those. And here's for room B.
And Elizabeth, are you willing to go ahead and join Socrates in his chat room? And do we have a way of letting you know which one he's electing to be in?
Good question. I would be happy to play for him. I don't know which one he's going to be in.
Yeah, I can, Elizabeth, I will move you into the one that he's in.
Or even Haman. Haman can also help out with that support in case Elizabeth has been posted elsewhere.
Okay. And actually, is he even still on? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did he have to leave? Because
I don't know if he had to leave or lost connection. Okay.
Does anyone else need help with French related?
In any event, his name is here if you put them all three in the same room, Michelle.
Okay, so I'm sorry, Elizabeth, Herman, and what was the other name? Socrates is not on anymore.
I see.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to open the breakout rooms again. Choose if you want to be in one of the A breakout rooms, vision and mission, or one of the B breakout rooms, strategy and projects. And I'm going to open these now and we'll see if this works. And I'm still leaving it with, question for organizers. I've got it set now for 30 minutes. Should I shorten that?
Yeah, maybe take it down to 20. What do you think, Getry? Getry's not here. Robert.
Yeah, 20 minutes would be fine, I think.
Okay.
Oh, she's there.
Okay, so now it's 20 minutes and I am opening the rooms.
Michelle, let me ask a quick question. What's your what's the duration of our session today? Do you have an endpoint? I didn't see that maybe in the invitation, but do you have an objective for when we close?
We were going to be closing at 9 a.m. Pacific time, although given all the delays and we're just now getting in the breakout rooms, we might roll over till more closer to 9:15 or something, depending on what Robert thinks. If that helps answer the question.
So one of the questions I have in terms of just expeditious interaction is whether whether with the group size that we have with people that have had to leave, is it productive to go into breakouts, or would it be just as effective to have a full group interaction? I don't want to interject anything, but we're losing some people at this point.
Oh, hi, Tyler. Good to see you.
Hi. Are we? Oh no, we're not in a breakout room. Good to see you too. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to continue on as planned. We do have two different subjects for the breakout rooms, so it would at least give us a chance to split up the labor a little bit, maybe save us some time. That's my thought.
Let's just do it.
Okay, I'm going to open the breakout rooms. Choose if you want to be in an A breakout room, vision and mission, or a B breakout room, strategy and projects, except for Robert, Raul, and David. You're already assigned to a specific one. Opening them now. And Elizabeth, I might move you. Oh, looks like we've lost both of the reasons that I would move you, so never mind. Opening.
Michelle,
Yeah.
I don't see anything that is telling me how to go into a breakout room, and people have just been disappearing. I guess people have been clicking
Okay.
on.
I'm just going to assign you to a room then.
Perfect. Could you assign me to the if it's convenient, could you assign me to the strategies one?
Sure thing.
Thanks.
Stanley, do you have a preference of which room you want to go into, strategy or vision and mission? All right, I'm just going to assign you to a strategy room. Or here. No, I'll assign you to a vision room given the populations here.
it's, no, that's. After this, yes, I see it. Okay, so that would, yeah, okay. That's the only reason you would take, that's the only reason you need to take the.
Do you have everybody in the room?
Yes, everybody.
Welcome back.
Time was not sufficient.
Time will never be sufficient, but I want to be grateful. I think the group I was in was more focused on key aspects of where we're coming from, but also there was a focus of where we're going. I would wish to have like a 3-minute reporting from each group. If there is anybody wants to talk about what we have learned from the process.
Comment that we do have two people that we did not have introduced earlier. We have Stanley from, I believe, Kenya, if I recall correctly, and we have Tyler from Santa Cruz, California, who have joined us.
Welcome, Stanley and Tyler. So group 1A. Anybody wants to tell us about what came out from the mission?
I went to group 1A and there was no one else there but me. So I migrated a few times and found a home with 1B ultimately. And I guess we were just kind of warming up. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I think there was not a definitive place that we landed, or even I think there was more, as I say, a feeling into the vision mission conversation. And the only thing I was going to say there before we got pulled back, and others might want to share, I know Tyler had put some things in the chat that perhaps he can talk to. And what I would say is that as Robert went through the core questions that he was looking for answers to, the one thing that came to my mind that was distinctive, setting EVN apart, was the fact that they're focused on dialogue and the tools of dialogue compared to other organizations, but that not all other organizations were inventoried or understood. So that left open a whole bunch of other questions about the vision and the goals for achieving using the mission and goals to achieve that vision. So I'll stop there.
Is it okay if I go really quickly, because I
Yes.
need to 9?
Go ahead.
Well, actually, it's funny you say Stanley was in, it's funny someone said Stanley's in the group, because Stanley was technically in my breakout group with me and David Albert. It was just the 3 of us, but Stanley's audio never worked. Like, we never heard or really saw him. Like, we saw his hand move or something like that. So he might have had 2 different, I don't know, computers or 2 different phones or something. Anyway, so it was just me and David, and we were in the strategies one, B something. I guess a different one than Robert Corman. And David was kind of talking about how everyone in Equatorial Voices Network, everyone all over the world, really, they're struggling with their own local situations, especially people in the areas where it's being, more, the effects of climate change are more severe. And so the productive question, to figure out our strategies is, how can North Americans help? How can people in the equatorial regions help each other? And he thinks the answer would be individual actions that are specific to each community, taking into account the bioregion that it's in. You can't plant the exact same things in different environments. You can't have the same exact water solution in different environments, etc. So being specific with the solutions, aka taking into account all the factors of an individual community. And then he had the idea of a funding mechanism to help with those individual projects. So we could set up a committee that does small grants or something like that. And also he thought it would be helpful to make communications more between people, especially between equatorial voices, more accessible and concrete. And one way to do that, he said, would be to have, make sure to have a page, like a bio, like a description and a photo, a thorough description and photo of each person in EVN on the website. And so make sure that anyone who goes on the website can see a full bio of what Getry has done in her life and what she's working on and that kind of stuff, what Robert has done, what Rahul has done, etc. So that they can be reading it and see, oh, she worked on this. That sounds like a really good solution that I could use. I'm going to contact her. So those were David's ideas. I have various, stuff about like what I could do, how I could help, but it's probably been 3 minutes already, and so I think I'll just let someone else go, and then I need to hop off at 9.
Anybody else in the two groups? Or anyone who's ready to talk, even if it's beyond. Yes, John.
Well, I mean, I was, I think Robert and I were in the same group with Robert and Boise, and so my response is that your mission and vision and mission are well stated. The question is, what does EVN offer that is distinctive, and are we duplicating effort? And should we join others? One of the things that's distinctive, and it's the reason we all got together to begin with, is that one person knew all of you, but you didn't know each other. And I don't know what other global forums there might be, but it seems to me that the Equatorial Voices Network as a forum is unique and is distinctive. If you know of any others that are in fact having that dialogue and in dialogue and with the principles of bone dialogue, if you will, and how to realizing Elizabeth's point is that specific solutions are not applicable in each situation. Nonetheless, the ability to find solutions, the abilities to take local action, to influence, political and policy decisions, etc. The ability to have that discourse with others who are struggling in the same ways and in the same, if you will, environments, global South. Frankly, you share more with each other than you do with the global North. So there are things that only each other can share. So I guess the point I'm trying to get to is the forum, the Equatorial Voices Forum network platform, is unique and is distinctive. You've got Climate Action Uganda, but it's a national action. What you bring to each other, I think, is the power there. And I think we saw that 2 years ago. It's like, oh my God, these people haven't met each other. And all of a sudden, you three bonded. I mean, it was like, we watched this and it was like, oh my God, this is terrific. This is fabulous. So there's so much power in that, in your network. I think that's where you find the leverage and how we work through the value of that network with you. Sorry, I've rambled on, but in any event, I wouldn't make it too complicated in terms of who you need to ally with. Find out who might hear about you and want to be part of that.
Yeah, just go ahead.
Since Go ahead, Nancy.
Is it appropriate for, this is not a report from, but I had additional input, but I don't know whether that's appropriate to do at this point in the program or not.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Your
I
wife
want
is
to,
in charge, Ray. Your wife's in charge of this, so you better ask.
actually, Getry and Robert and Rahul are in charge. And at any rate,
I think we've lost Getry for the moment.
okay, so I just wanted to make the point that although our focus is on the environmental issues and the stress, there is necessarily an ongoing interaction, some of it positive, much of it negative, between the environmental stresses and the human rights situations. And I would suggest that the human rights situations are threefold, and they relate to the environment, and that the EVN has a role in these as well. One is that given the various inequities of the world, when there are environmental hardships, they are not distributed equitably or equally. They are oftentimes distributed along the lines of traditional privilege and traditional opportunities and persecutions and so on. And we can expect that to continue, and that has to be resisted, and that has to be addressed. So all of the equity issues, so that we don't continue having the various communities of the global south and the various impoverished communities of the global north always bearing the brunt of the worst aspects of environmental change. The second interaction between environmental stress and human rights issues is that we expect governments to be functional and to have some concern for human welfare. As environmental stresses put those issues into increasing jeopardy, you will have increasing pressures toward autarky and the defeat of democratic movements. And it's very, very important that we give what support we can to people's voices being able to be heard and being implemented in various ways across the globe. And we've had some victories, but we've had many, many significant losses. It's no accident that right now, for example, among the challenges we're facing is the turmoil in Kenya, where we have major democratic movement occurring and major pushback occurring from the Ruto presidency. We're having similar pushbacks in the United States. And the third aspect is that as we have more environmental stress, we are going to see increasingly both social movements, adverse social movements, and autarkic government relying upon scapegoating. In the United States, for example, we're seeing major scapegoating about how impoverished whites in particular are taught to go ahead and blame all of their problems on the immigration of people from our southern border, from Central America and South America. That is a major scapegoating that's occurring in the United States. We are seeing in other areas, I think we can expect to see increasing scapegoating of the Dalits in India, increasing scapegoating of gays throughout the world, both in Africa and in America. And those will have human rights implications. So, and then we have although we have an environmental emphasis, it's the problem is that we have to do our environmental struggles in the context of the human rights situation, and that as we lose human rights, we lose our environmental abilities, and as we gain human rights, we gain a greater ability to address the environmental imperatives. So I think I'm not saying anything that everybody in this room isn't already aware of, but I just really want to emphasize the intimate connections between our environmental struggles and our human rights struggles. And we need that solidarity that transnational solidarity, both on the environmental front and on the human rights front.
Yeah, I want to applaud you, Ray. I think you pinpointed what to me is the issue. Yes, I think your points are very well taken. I've just been involved in helping a dialogue facilitator who's based actually in Hungary, who is selected to be the facilitator for a major conversation, which is the nicest way I'd put it, between the environmental movement in Europe and farmers and people who put food out there. And there's an enormous tension in this very issue because of the human rights impacts on farmers and on others. So you're pinpointing what I think is the preeminence of human rights issues because the environmental movement has a real tendency to be very protective of the economic structures that are in place, which do not serve at all those that are most vulnerable. So I thank you for your comments. I hope they were recorded. And I do think it speaks to the issues that you raised in the little group that we were in, Robert, about, what is distinctive? How does the EVN relate to those issues? I mean, I know that there's an importance to help with resilience, which is, I think, a point that Elizabeth made and that John was making, that, every place is a little bit different. But so many of these places are fundamentally dealing with injustice issues as much as anything else. But you don't have time to focus on injustice issues when, as Rahul was mentioning, 20 miles away, there are people who are trying to swim away from floods. So these are the core concerns of just survival, and in some ways trying to push back on the overall large structural issues that create human rights dimensions and other injustices. You don't have time to do it. So this is a preeminent issue, I think, is global and can hit anywhere, as someone said about even the United States. So I'm finished. Thank you. Sorry.
I think I appreciate what Robert is sharing and Ray. When doing the group discussion, I think I don't know if Rahul or Kevin has talked about this. My network is dropping off and on. But real issues, as you're saying, real issues that come to make us feel like, what choices do we have in responding to this? And I'll be having a conversation with some Quakers in the US about how to stay calm in the midst of fear as they're approaching the elections. And this is one of the dialogues I think I can open up with EVN, see how we can do a participation probably the first week of September, so that people can just discuss on how do we continue coexisting. And I think Robert has used the right word, resilience, to be there, however much we are being bent, but never break. So that we are able to wake up again and say, yeah, we got somewhere, we moved someplace, and we are where we are. That will be the achievement. So it's a discussion that needs a long conversation around it. And it's global, to be sure, because as much as our young people in Kenya are celebrating, we were talking with Kevin, the police have used tear gas every now and then. And they keep saying we are not scared of tear gas, we are only scared of marriage. Now, these questions up, do you know what they're inhaling? Do they know how damaging it is for their body system? And do you know what the smoke does to the earth? And these are questions that, needs a lot of civic education probably, and just letting people keep knowing.
I also want to mention a major part of the Global South that is missing in our particular dialogues, and I don't have a practical way of bringing it in, both for linguistic reasons and for just organizing reasons, and that's the Central and South America, which faces problems that are in some ways parallel to Africa and South Asia, in other ways distinctive, and we need them and to be part of this. And I do not have a concrete suggestion about what's the proper time to try making that extension, but and other than my reference to the fact that they are a major part of our scapegoating in the United States currently, we tend to focus on the Trumpian concept of the invasion from our Hispanic brothers and sisters is what is causing all the American problems. That's pure scapegoating nonsense, but nonetheless, I'm looking forward to when our Global South is able to be more universalized in its representation.
So friends, I think we need to almost get going. We need to start. I think I'll just give probably a minute for each, and those who have not actually talked, to just share on last remarks, like a closing part. As you're looking for, EVN is very focused to go use the material we have discussed today so that we can enhance our structures and how we are doing it. And some of our EVN members will be coming on board so that they can support in different committees so that we can have a robust discussion about what is eating us, the real issues that are affecting us. Let me call upon Kevin. Do you have anything you want as a closing remark? Kevin.
Well, yes. Thank you so much, Getri. What I think I would like to point out is that the discussions are now shaping up very well, moving from the several dialogue discussions into action. And I think the best thing for us now is to think of how to team up as country teams and get the right people so that we are able to deal with the problems that are area specific and bring them on board so that EVN is moving in one direction. Each country within it's also very good. I'm so happy countries and all these grow and we're all who organize this meeting. It's been a pleasure. We're really learning a lot. Thank you.
Pass it, Kevin, to somebody else.
Tyler?
I will call upon maybe David. David, you're welcome.
So I think EVN has been a great success in that you've all gotten to know each other. You know, and I think that's a big deal. That's a really big deal. And where it's going to take us, I'm not quite clear. I'm hoping we will be led in those directions by our coordinators and our friends all around the world. I think we North Americans should, for the most part, be cheerleaders, as it were, for what this is. We could also probably raise a little money here and there. We could provide a little bit of expertise. But as I was quoted earlier by Elizabeth, most of the things that our EVN members are dealing with are local and bioregional specific. I would not like to generalize too much, but share common problems. It was my idea that on the front page of the website, we should have all of the members listed and what they're doing and a contact, so that, people can contact each other and say, oh, Robert's doing black soldier flies. I'd like to do that in my country, but where do I begin? And it would be great if many more of those dialogues, those ongoing dialogues, and dialogues for assistance could help. And that's enough. Robert?
Okay.
Muted, Robert.
Yeah, someone put me on mute. So yeah, I am I congratulate you three and people like Kelvin, so people who are bringing such clarity and passion to all of this. I think much of what I've heard from David and from Kelvin just now and others is the right thing to maintain the confidence that there's a lot of rich learning and a learning curve that you're on, and you're on a learning curve in a way that there aren't many people in the Global South are on it, because you're using a particular approach, which John mentioned, of dialogue. And I want to just say that besides who else is doing something, there are movements in the Global South that are also accomplishing things, and they're not duplicating you. So I'm mentioning that because I think there's a positive effort on the part of some enterprises in the Global South, which can bring, even though they're struggling too, they're organizing, and I'm thinking of the Brazilian one, MST, that is doing remarkable things as a social movement. What are they doing? How are they doing it? And do they need dialogue? Or how do you support, in other words, some of the enterprises out there, as you get to the point where you can, that are accomplishing things where dialogue can only help them, which can make EVN attractive to them. So I'm just wandering through my thoughts and releasing a few of the current ones as I'm having them. But I like what David said about how we can be supportive in limited ways, but I encourage you to keep trusting enormously what you bring to this yourselves. And I'm glad you're growing. I'll pass it to Michelle.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm think this very strong model of networking connections and building those peer-to-peer relationships, so that it's easy to find people who are working on similar enough problems that you can really share insights and resources effectively, is something unique and powerful in the world. I think capacity building in terms of how to share that information, that as I talked about in our small group, that the ability and access to contribute to the website and make that grow, and learn those skills and find other ways to sort of build and share information and contact information is a really important direction to start moving in. And I'm confident that there are ways to get some additional support for that. So, but a lot of the skill building stuff is freely available. So for instance, WordPress training so that people can build out the website is definitely freely available via YouTube. And again, the more people who have that skill and capacity, the more effective this kind of networking can become. So that's what I have to offer. And John, did you get a chance to talk yet?
I haven't, so thank you. I second and echo all that's been mentioned, and particularly David, when he says the fact that you didn't know each other and now you do, and you're talking to each other, is a big deal. It is a huge deal. There are some in our own political environment who want us to contract and be only talking to ourselves, America first, and it's crazy, of course. There's power in discourse, there's power in the global relationship, and you all are an example of that, a wonderful example of that. The three of you, and the connections, the other connections. Kelvin, it's great to have you on this as well now. And so take that as the power in your strategy, is that global discourse that you've got from a dialogic standpoint, dialogue. It's not so much the specific solutions, though black soldier flies might be something that could be replicated, but it's the question of shared meaning. Where do you find that passion, that shared meaning, the power in discourse, the power of how you connect with each other, the encouragement, the leadership, the stimulus, the fact that all of you are advancing your own studies and growing in those dimensions. This you can create within the EVN that forum, that leadership forum, if you will, around the world, that is and for those of us in Global North, I mean, the Climate Dialogue Group, one of our 4 initiatives is support, dialogue, outreach, education, and support. And that's where we are, as David said, how we offer, we are, if you will, we're your relatives in terms of this development. And so we're not going away. We're going to be here for you. Whatever that means, offering some expertise. You have the powerful thinkers such as Robert Corman and Philip Knies and Nancy and others. How do you draw on us, if you will? Little money here and there. We don't have much. We have no funding from CDG. But you have a powerful start, and you are powerful people. We're enthusiastic to be in your camp as well. So this is a great start. Let's keep this discourse going. Do this more and more. It took us a number of different times with Climate Dialogue Group. Keep doing this. Send us these slides. Let us pore over them. But do this again. Loving you all, blessings. Pass it on to, let's see, who hasn't spoken? Robert, we got Boise.
Yeah.
Robert and Boise.
Thank you all for the feedback you've given us. And we must acknowledge EVN has gone a long way. It has come a long way. And we as individuals, we've interacted at different times. It is just surprising that on my end, sorry to talk about people that have not turned up, but I've been in communication with about 5 people who had promised to come that haven't, but we've had series of discussions even before, privately, about different climate issues. So although they have not been here presently, it is just exciting on how this whole network is evolving, how we are able to learn from each other, how we are able to share what we are going through. And honestly, it has had a great success. 2 years back, 2.5 years, I didn't know Rahul, I didn't know Getri, I didn't know any of you. So I really believe that we are heading somewhere as long as we are more committed and we keep ourselves open-minded to learning. Because the feedback all of you have shared, Robert Coleman, David, Michelle, John, and many others in those particular groups is really very valuable and is going to inform our next steps as we continue to encourage members to join. Although the timing in East Africa here, around 5 people are leaving work, so it is a bit tricky and it is heading for a weekend. But I'm really, really appreciative of your time, all of you, and the feedback you've shared. And I hope when we share these slides, we can build on this conversation to help build EVN to the next steps. I'm grateful. I'll pass it on to, I think, Nancy, because Kevin, I think, got done, and Michelle. My pleasure.
Thank you all. Thank you all. This has been a real pleasure. I am hearing loud and clear that the basics of what we're doing, bringing people in to speak, putting together a website. I'm very mindful of what David Albert said. It's been on my mind anyhow. I've been thinking, why don't we just have a biography and the current projects and aspirations of each and every one of the people we're working with on the website? It feels like such an obvious place to begin. I'm also very interested in also connecting when people are working again and again and again, issues will come up around permagardens, around reclaiming indigenous foods, cook stoves for women in Africa and so forth. Certain issues keep surfacing in different communities, and also those are different. To just track those on the website so that it's easy for people to find some of the answers they're looking for and the people they can connect with directly about it, alongside, like, we're sharing knowledge and also really building deep relationships of trust, of good humor, of fun, of hard work. I'm also taken by what Robert Corman said about that we could benefit from knowing a lot more about what other groups are accomplishing, how we could learn from that and benefit from it and get to know, build new relationships. And at the same time, we could bring into those groups this process, this emphasis on dialogue and mutual knowledge of each other and shared knowledge, etc. So it feels like we've gotten the guidance we needed. It's partly what we're doing. What we're trying to do right now is the right thing to strengthen it further. I'll also roll in Leonida Odongo, couldn't be here today, but she also was urging us to make better use of social media as well. So building on what Michelle was saying about strengthening our website capacities, also reaching into, I noticed in her own case, she shifted really from a website to a Facebook page, etc. So these are all possibilities for us to further develop, working out of a core sense of dialogue. The last thing I'll name, it's just my particular shtick that I keep bringing up. I feel that there's a way Global North people have of looking at the challenges we're up against that is in some ways helpful, but also really takes the form of, as we face the climate disasters and create them, how do we still manage to maintain our industrial way of life? And it's not yet confronting a more fundamental question that Global South is already dealing with. How do we grow food? How do we reclaim our ability just to survive at the communal level as we're more and more challenged ourselves, particularly the poor in each of our countries? So I keep wanting to flip it and say, how much are we learning from climate leadership from the Global South? So that's my own particular shtick up here to flip it and make it a much more mutual learning experience. With that, I'm going to pass it to the guy sitting right to my right here, Ray.
The contributions and potential for future interaction with the various participants, including some who did not make it into the dialogue, people like Herman from the Congo, who tried getting on board and apparently was obstructed by technological problems, has already been well noted. I want to mention another thing that we're all aware of, but I think we should explicitly honor it. I'm going to focus on the three primary people that I've come to know from EVN, from the Global South, Gayatri, Robert, and Rahul. These people all make their important contributions. They all have important information to share with us. But I think what I have learned most of all is that these people, in addition to being admirable, are people that I've come to deeply care about at a very personal level. I'm expecting that if Kelvin becomes involved, I will have parallel and similar feelings toward him. And so I think we need to acknowledge the personal and spiritual bonds between that take place in these dialogues and in these interactions, and not to downplay them, not to just quantify each other as the valuable resources and informational resources and organizational resources that these people obviously are, but at a deeply and profound level, they are deeply human resources that I treasure and revere.
I think, Gayatri, are you the only one at this point that has not spoken?
I think I'm doing the final part. I'm closing the door. Thank you, friends. It has been a wonderful dialogue, and I'm looking forward to meeting all of us again for other progressive discussion. And I want to thank you for your time and patience. And Ivan is here to say bye-bye as people are closing the doors. So EVN is really appreciative. We love you guys, and we appreciate Robert. Come and we keep talking about you and ideas you bring on board, and we appreciate each and every one of you is playing a role in our progress. Michelle will tap the blessing of further conversation about trainings and the social media part. And we hope our website will be up, because that's actually a factor that the generation right now is looking at, social media. So we can't hide from it. Thank you for coming to today's meeting. Looking forward to the next dialogue, and hope we'll all be there. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Who is that, Gayatri? That's not Daniel, is it?
No, Daniel is big. Daniel is 11. This is Fraser.
Big. Who is this?
Fraser, the baby.
Fraser?
Yeah, Fraser.
Fraser. Okay.
Yeah.
He's the baby.
The baby.
How old is he?
4.
4.
Mm-hmm.
What a great age. Hello, Fraser. He'll be a
I
member.
think
He'll be a member.
Raul, yeah. Pardon?
Well,